Okay. So here we go. We need to pick up with our ellipse. Let's see what we remember from what we learned last time. So we're ready. This is question B. And if you've forgotten what all you need to find, look back at the directions because it lists all of the things we need to find. The first thing we need to find here is our center. Where is our center? 1, 0. All right, very important. Start with the center. Now, what does this 49 tell me? Yoo-hoo! What's that 49 tell me? I'm going to count 7 in the X direction.
Oh, that's 7, yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now I'm going to figure out where those points are. And you have graph paper, so just count, figure out what those points are. This one would be 8, 0. And this one would be -6, 0. Now, what does this 9 tell me to do?
3 down.
From my center. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So this point on my graph paper is 1, 3. And this one is 1, -3. Those 4 points are the vertices. So your job was to find the center and the vertices and some other stuff. But we've got our center and our vertices on here. All right, let's go ahead and get our major axis. How long is my major axis? 14. And how long is my minor axis? 6. Now, the only thing left to find in that list of stuff are the foci. Remember, the foci are always on the major axis. So they're along here somewhere. I don't know where. I'm just going to put, there they are. Those big green dots, those are my foci. Now, I know I need to go right and left an amount to get there. So anybody remember how we find the amount?
Bigger number minus the smaller, the bottom number.
Denominators, yep, so we're gonna subtract the denominators and take the square root. And that's gonna be the distance from my center to my focus. Okay, so what is that? The square root of 40, which breaks down to 2 root 10. So I'm gonna start right here, and I'm gonna go right, I'm gonna add 2 root 10. Now, am I gonna add 2 root 10 to the X or to the Y? X. Why, how do I know that? Because I'm going sideways. When I go sideways, that's X, right? So this point is gonna be 1 plus 2 root 10, comma 0. I simply add 2 root 10 to my X. And then what will I do when I come back here? 1 minus 2 root 10, comma 0. So I find my distance to my focus, and I add and subtract that from the center. All right, one more, it's our last chance to get this down. Let's see. Where is my center? At -1, 1. Everybody got that? Now I need my vertices. So what does this 4 tell me?
2, 2.
Go sideways 2. And I need to know what those points are, so I'll look at my graph paper. This one is 1, 1. And this one is -3, 1. what's that 9 tell me to do? From the center, so go back to the center and up, 1, 2, 3, down, 1, 2, 3. And then those 2 points, again, I should be able to tell just by where I plotted it. -1, 4, -1, -2. And those 4 points are my vertices. Alright, everybody got that? Now, how long is my major axis? 6, and my minor is 4. And I know that my foci are always on the major, so they're going to be here somewhere. Again, doesn't matter, there's where they are, they're there somewhere. So I need to figure out this distance. How far is it from the center to the focus in this ellipse?
Would it be 4 minus 9 or 9 minus 4? 9 minus 4. With the
Square root of,
9 minus 4.
which is
5.
the square root of 5. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to add root 5, and I'm going to subtract root 5. Now, what am I going to add and subtract it to? The x or the y? Because I'm going up and down. So this point right here is going to be -1, 1 plus root 5. And this one will be -1, 1 minus root 5. Now we're going to do some problems still with the ellipse, but we're going to do it backwards. Look, the picture is drawn. So you are going to write an equation. And the equation will be some x thing squared over a number plus a y thing squared over a number equal to 1. Every equation of an ellipse that you write is going to look like that, just like this one. But now we got to fill in the numbers, right? So let's look at our picture. Can we tell what goes in the parentheses?
+2.
-2, -3, right? Does my center go in there? Now, how am I going to figure out what these bottom numbers are? Well, look at your picture, guys. How far sideways did you travel from your center? 4. So if you traveled sideways 4, then that number has to be a 16. Because don't we take the square root of this number to figure out how far sideways to go? Right? Okay. Now, how far up and down did we go? Which means done.
Is that always equal to 1?
Always. Standard form of the ellipse, going to be equal to 1. Boy, that was easy. All right, let's look at the next one. Again, you're going to have an x parentheses over something squared over something, plus a y parentheses squared over something equal to 1. That is what your equation's going to look like. Alright, so let's start filling things in. And we fill in the parentheses. +4 -2. Now, how about the denominators? Well, how far sideways? Gosh, are these going to be the same numbers? Looks like we went sideways 4, so that's going to be a 16 again. And we went up 3, so that's going to be a 9 again. I mean, we know it's not always those numbers, right? All right, now it's going to be a little bit tougher because they didn't draw a picture for you, they just handed you some information. So here's what we've got in problem C. We have a center at the origin. Okay, we'll stop right there. Doesn't that mean my equation is gonna look like this? If the center's at the origin? Now, what else do I know? I know that it's a vertical ellipse. Now, we haven't really talked about that, but what do you think that means if the ellipse is vertical? It means it's oval this way. So you can be oval this way and you can be oval this way. This is vertical. Okay, so this ellipse is vertical and its major axis is 6. Now, what does that mean? If the major axis is 6, that means we're going up and down 3. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going minor 2. Now you should be able to fill in the rest of this equation. If we went sideways 2, then what's under here? 4. And if we went up and down 3, and there's your equation. Alright, next. Oh boy. You got a center at the origin, okay. So keep in mind, if you're at the origin, you don't have parentheses. Remember that, guys? No parentheses if we're at the origin. Just an x squared and a y squared. We have foci at 0, 3, and 0, -3. Right now, stop right now. Those are foci. Those are not vertices. However, if the foci are up and down like this, what does that tell me about my ellipse? The major is this way, so the ellipse, I don't know exactly what it looks like, but something like that, right? It's like a puzzle, you gotta figure things out as you go. The major axis is 10. Well, this is the major axis, so if the whole thing's 10, then I must be going up and down 5. Okay, well that helps me. Because if I know I'm going up and down 5, what do I know about my equation? 25 under the y? I have no idea what these are. Right? I don't know. I have no idea what this denominator is. I'm going to call it n. I don't know what it is. But I do know that from the center to the focus is 3. See what I'm saying? How do I find the distance from the center to the focus? No, it's not an average. That would be midpoint. How do I find the center to the focus?
The denominators.
Subtract my denominators and take the square root. So I know one denominator is 25, and by the way, that's the big one. I don't know the little one, but I know that if I subtract them and take the square root, I get 3. How do I solve that?
Square both sides.
Square both sides, so 25 minus 10 equals 9. Subtract the 25 and divide. So my denominator is 16. Guys, you gotta get with the program here. Come on. Try to stay awake and alert. I know it's April, we're seniors, and most of us hate math. But guess what? I'm gonna stand up here every day and I'm gonna keep throwing it at you, and you're gonna have tests and quizzes, so you might as well not flunk. Alright, let's hang in. Alright. right, next, here we go. Let's see if we can figure this out. It's like a big puzzle. Which one am I on? E? The major endpoints are at 5 and negative 5. Now just stop a minute. If those are the endpoints of the major axis, can I figure out where my center is? It's gonna be right in the middle, isn't it? So I have another one with a center at the origin. And since I went back and forth 5, I know under X will be a 25. The minor axis is 4. So what does that mean? If the minor axis is 4 units long, that means I'm counting up and down 2, which means under Y is a 4. Big puzzle. All right, one more on this page. I have an ellipse. The major endpoints are at 1, negative 4, and at 1, 8. Okay, Josh.
Good.
These are the major endpoints. So I don't know exactly what it looks like, but something like that, right? Where is my center relative to these 2 points? Won't it be right in the middle? And how do I find the middle value?
You do average.
I do the average. So I know X is gonna be 1. What is the average of 8 and negative 4? Add them together
2.
and divide by 2. 1, 2. That is your center. Now, if that's my center, I am going to go ahead and set up this much of my equation. Remember, it's an ellipse, so it's going to be an x quantity squared plus a y quantity squared equal to 1. Now I need my denominators. How far up and down did I go here? 6. So if I went up and down 6,
36.
where?
Y.
Y. Yep. 36 under the Y. Now I have no idea how far sideways I went, but they tell me the minor axis is 8 units long. So this whole thing is 8 units long, which means I did what? 4 each way, which means under X must be a 16. These aren't so bad, are they? All right, so now we've got major endpoints at negative 2, negative 3, and negative 2, negative 7. Okay, and those are the major endpoints. There isn't going to be very good, but we'll see what happens. All right, so now here's my equation. I'm going to start filling stuff in. Can I find my center?
Yeah.
Want it to be right in the middle of those 2 points? So won't it be negative 2 comma something? And how will I find the something? Average, -3 and -7. So -3 and -7 add them together. Well, they make -10, but divided by 2 would be -5, yep. Now, some of you hopefully can just look at this and say, oh, what's in the middle of 3 and 7? Isn't 5 in the middle of 3 and 7? So I'm not saying you have to go through the averaging process, but that is a way you can always find your middle point. So what have I got? X plus 2, Y plus 5. How far up and down did I go? 2, which means under Y is a 4. Now, I have no idea how far sideways I went, but it tells me that the minor axis is 4. So that means I went back and forth 2, which means this is also a 4. This 4's got a bad problem in here. That is not an ellipse, that is actually a circle. I want the same amount every way. Oh well, as you say, my bad. Alright, yeah.
Wait, so is that just another way to write the equation of a circle?
Okay, is that bad? Because I have a bad
No. It was just funny.
Alright, so here we go. 1 -4. So somebody said, is that another way of writing the equation of a circle? Yes, we never do, but yes, it would be. So 1 -4 and 5 -4. Now be careful. Those are the foci. And the major endpoints are at 0, -4. These are all supposed to be lined up. 0, -4. And 6, -4. So my ellipse looks like this. Now, what do I know? Can I figure out, I gotta figure out my equation. Can I figure out anything from this given?
Find your center.
I can find my center, because my center will be right in the middle of everything, right? So my center is gonna be right in here. So I don't know what you wanna find the middle of. You can find the middle of 1 and 5, or you can find the middle of 0 and 6, it doesn't matter. Maybe 0 and 6 would be easier. What's the middle of 0 and 6? 3. So this is the point 3, -4. So I can write this much of my equation. Your center is +3, -4. Now, my vertex is out here, one of my vertices. How far is it from the center all the way out to the vertex? 3. Sideways means there's a what under X?
6.
9. 9? I do not know what these numbers are. I don't know how far up and down I go, but I know that the distance from the center to the focus is how far. This is my center, this is my focus. How far is that? 2. And I know in an ellipse, these are the tricky ones, I know in an ellipse that if I subtract my denominators and take the square root, I will get that distance. That's how you find the distance from the center to the focus in an ellipse. You subtract your denominators and take the square root. So let's solve this equation. 9 minus n equals 4. If I square both sides, 9 minus what is 4? 5. So this number is a these are definitely the trickiest. There's another one. I is the same thing. So let's take a minute. Yeah. So let's take a minute and see if you can sort this one out on your own. -2, 1 is a focus. -2, 5 is another focus. Those are foci. -2, -1, and -2, 7 are the end points of the major axis.
Do you always give us the major endpoints so that we don't get the imaginary number when we solve for n when we do that?
Well, but if, you'll always know whether you've got the major or the minor.
Okay.
So then that's
Oh,
where
because
you
then you
put your
just do
n.
n,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But yes, you have to know what you're dealing with there. All right. So see what you can figure out. When you figure out something, shout it out. Let's hear what you're figuring out.
-2, 3.
I heard a center is at -2, 3. I agree with that, because doesn't the center have to be either in between the foci or in between the vertices? It doesn't matter which set you use, that point's gonna be the same. So we've got x plus 2, y minus 3. Beautiful, right? Figure out something else and shout it out for me. The y number is 16, Jared says. Yes, how does he know that? From here to here is how far? 4. And if you went up and down 4, then under y has to be 16?
Second number would be -12.
I don't know what this number's gonna be, but we're gonna figure it out. I think you're right. This guy right here, how far is it from the center to the focus? So center to focus is 2. I know that to find that distance, I am supposed to subtract my denominators and take the square root. So 16 minus n square rooted has to be 2. So 16 minus n has to be 4. So 16 minus what is 4? So that number is 12.
Yep. Well, would it be 12 or -12?
Why would
Because-
it be negative 12?
Well, 'cause if you were to move the 6, if you were to take away 16, it would be -12. Oh, okay, never mind.
Never gonna be negative. Never gonna be negative. Okay. One more. What? All right, so we have 3, -7. And 3, 3. And these are the end points of the major axis. So what does that tell me? Does that tell me anything? Leslie, what do you think? Does that tell me anything? Those are the end points of the major axis.
Yes.
What does it tell me? tell me where the center is, because I know the center is going to be right in the middle of these two.
We have to average.
So we're gonna average 3 and negative 7. The y's. We're gonna average the y's. So 3 and negative 7 is negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So your center is at 3, negative 2. Your center will always be the midpoint of your axis, right? Either axis, it's in the middle of everything. So x minus 3, y plus 2. Now, do I know anything else from what I have drawn so far? Under y has to be a 25, because how far is it from the center up to here, or from the center down to here? 5. And if that's 5, that's got to be a 25. Right? So when I first drew this up here and I asked Leslie, does this give us anything we need to know? Somebody said it gives us a lot. We're almost done. Thank you, Josh. Now, the minor axis is 6. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that from here, from the center, I'm going to go 3 each way, which means under x has to be a 9. All right, so that is it. So what will happen on Tuesday is we will do a practice quiz, and then we'll have another quiz Wednesday.
When's that homework due? Wednesday?
And the homework will be due on Wednesday also. Yes, thank you, Claudia.
No, we have homework due on Tuesday.
So, 9.3, or 8.2 homework is due on Wednesday, and we'll have our quiz on Wednesday also, but we will practice quiz on Tuesday. All right, so